Okay, now I'm going to move on to operations on polynomials, and you can review what polynomials are, but basically they're variables and raised to powers. So basically I'm going to start out with just simplifying a basic polynomial expression here. Here I have x squared times 3x minus 5 minus 5x times x squared plus 7x minus 2. Now, here I'm going to distribute the x squared into the 3x, and I'll get 3x cubed. And I'll distribute the x squared times minus 5 and get minus 5x squared. Now, over here, I'm going to be very careful here. There's a couple of ways to do this, but I'm going to leave the minus out here, and I'm just going to multiply the 5x, the positive 5x term. So 5x times x squared is 5x cubed, and 5x times 7x is 35x squared, and then 5x times minus 2 is minus 10x. Now, if you distribute the minus through now, it's going to change the sign of these three terms. So that's going to be minus 5x cubed, minus 35x squared, and plus 10x. Now, you could have just done it, skipped that middle step there by just distributing the minus 5x through each if you'd wanted to, but you would have ended up with the same three terms right here. Okay, now I'm going to collect like terms. So here you'll have a 3x cubed, and here you have a minus 5x cubed. So 3x cubed minus 5x cubed would be minus 2x cubed. Here you have a minus 5x squared and a minus 35x squared, which is a minus 40x squared. And then the 10x is all by itself. And so now you've simplified a polynomial expression. And notice that you generally write these in descending order, where you have the term with the highest exponent first, and then the next lowest exponent, and so forth, in that order. Now, another thing we can do with polynomials is we can multiply them. And you heard me, if you listened to another video I did recently, you heard me talk about the FOIL method. Well, here, if you multiply two binomials, you can FOIL. So here you can do the first times the first, so you'll take 3x squared times 2x, and that gives you 6x cubed. And then you can do the outer product, which is 3x squared times minus 3, and that'll give you minus 9x squared. And then you can multiply the inner product, 5 times 2x, that gives you 10x. And then you can multiply the last terms, 5 times minus 3, and that'll give you minus 15. And if any of these terms will combine, you'll combine them, but these are all, none of these terms are alike, so we just leave it like this. Now, if you want to square a binomial, like 2x minus 5y quantity squared, then there's a formula for squaring a binomial, but let's just save that for later. You can actually write it like this: 2x minus 5y times 2x minus 5y. And then you can do the FOIL method. So you'll say 2x times 2x to get the 4x squared. And then if you do the outer product, 2x times minus 5y would give you minus 10xy. But then if you do the inner product, you'll get the same thing. Minus 5y times 2x is minus 10xy. And then when you multiply the two last terms together, minus 5y times minus 5y, you get 25y squared. Now on this one, we can combine these terms in the middle. Minus 10xy minus 10xy is the same as minus 20xy. So I get 4x squared minus 20xy plus 25y squared. Now if you're wanting to multiply two polynomials together, like here, well, then what you're going to do is you're going to just use the distributive property, where you take each term from the first polynomial and multiply it through each term in the second polynomial. And then if you have a second term, you multiply that term by each of these terms. And of course, if you have a third term, which we don't here, but if you had a third term, you would multiply that term by each of these. So I'll take the x times x squared and get x cubed. Then I'll take the x times 2x and get 2x squared. Then I'll take the x times 4 and I'll get 4x. Okay, so then I move to the minus 2. So then I'll take minus 2 times x squared, and I'll get minus 2x squared. And then minus 2 times 2x is minus 4x. And then minus 2 times 4 is minus 8. And so now I look for terms that I can combine. Let's see if there's anything I can combine. Well, interestingly enough here, I have a 2x squared and a minus 2x squared. Well, those add up to 0. And I also have a 4x and a minus 4x, and those add up to 0. So I'm only left with the x cubed and the minus 8. So that's actually going to equal x cubed minus 8. And so that's going to end this video on polynomial operations. And on the next one, I'll talk to you about complex fractions.